Next on Belmont Park Live, Maddie's Magnum hopes for a repeat of her last performance. The surface switch already has things lining up in her favor. Stoney Bennett will try to make it 3 straight trips to the winner's circle in today's 8th, but he'll likely have to survive some company on the lead if he hopes to cash in on a three-peat. And we'll preview Saturday's Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup Dubai World Cup winner Thunder Snow, looking for another big effort after a win in track record time over in Dubai. All that and more coming up on this Friday edition of Belmont Park Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us on MSG Plus Prime Ticket and Fox Sports San Diego. You're looking live here at Belmont, New York, and we have the start of a late pick 4 coming up, closing in on 70,000 and growing in that pool. We're about 12 minutes to post, and the first leg of that sequence coming up. And the usual cast and crew here with you on this Friday afternoon. I'm Greg Wolf, joined by Paula Duca, former New York Met and LA Dodger, and of course Andy Serling, New York Racing Association handicapper. We'll get to Maggie Wolfendale in just a moment. That 8th race, very interesting group lining up in there. We talked about Stoney Bennett in the open. He is quick, but he could have some company on the lead as he goes for a three-peat today.
Yeah, and he's a horse, Andy, that as soon as Linda Rice got into the Linda Rice barn, she gelded the son of Busted Stones, and he's been very good. Now, after the very good win by 8 3/4, it was a little suspect why he was in for a tag for 50, but he was a gelding, and he dominated again.
I'm not willing to blame Linda for the gelding just yet, but perhaps she was the one who gelded this poor horse. But to be fair, and all kidding aside, he's got to deal with Desert in the front end here. And, you know, his freaky performance, the slop at Saratoga, which we're looking at, actually this is his last performance. They got away with one. They really did, because he could have been claimed in there, and he got it done. But they still dropped him off a big win. We don't have the same kind of sloppy surface that we had that day at Saratoga. It had poured. It was in the midst of pouring. It was just a very odd situation. And he's going to have company by Desert in here, and this is a tougher field. He's one of the horses to beat it here, but this is a very competitive group.
Speaking of getting away with one, he might have got away with one when he aired in the slop 2 starts back. It's hot out. It was the other primary speed in that race. Broke dead last that day, so he had the lead all to himself. Definitely Desert, you would think, is going to keep him company, so that's an intriguing race coming up. Part of our late pick 4. That goes as the 8th. Get signed up, get started. $200 new member bonus to play with Naira Bets when you use that promo code Belmont Live to bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to Naira Bets, get signed up, and get started. Here's the races we have for you this afternoon. Race 6 kicks off our pick 4. Maiden special weight at 6 furlongs. Chad Brown with the favored entry. That 8th race, of course, is where we'll see Stoney Bennett. Time for a paddock report. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Standing Curlin for $150,000. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg, and they are up and they're heading out here for this 7th race, an intriguing field of 2-year-olds and mostly comprised of first-time starters. And the guys who dominated the 2-year-old racing up at Saratoga, they're back here at Belmont, and that is Chad Brown and Klaravich Stables. And we'll start off by talking about the 1, Proximity Bias. Now, if you look at the works, it looks as though they were working together, and that indexation actually worked better than Proximity Bias. But, well, indexation might eventually be a better horse, and she's actually a bit of a better looking type. I'm wondering if she might want to eventually want more ground. I'm a little bit confused by this entry, I'll be honest, because physically at face value, it looks as though that Proximity Bias is the one who's more intended for dirt sprinting, whereas indexation looks a little bit more of a kind of longer, if not turf horse, but she seems to be the one that's most ready. So we'll see what shakes out with them, as number 2 is Fangirl for John Terranova. Good looking daughter of Dialed In, has the physical maturity. It's the mental aspect that's a little bit lacking here from what I have observed with her thus far. A little bit green, in other words, here. And I like the fact that there is some precocity in the family, and she kind of looks it here because she's a more mature looking type. We'll just see if mentally, if she can put it all together. Number 4 is Blonde Moment for Dermot Magner. Paid $150,000 for this daughter, Jimmy Creed. And she looks like she's well meant for this spot here. Also well named, having that flaxen and maiden tail with the blonde moment reference, but fitness-wise, she might benefit from getting a start under her belt. Now, Todd Pletcher for Zayat Stable will send out Rockin' MZ, who feels like the one that's most well spotted. She looks purely like a dirt sprinter. She's strong looking overall. She's a little bit smaller in stature, but you know, we'll see if she has that speed. That's something that Todd's 2-year-olds have been lacking from the gate this year, but she looks like one that is well meant for debut here, guys.
She is not taking a lot of money right now. She is 6-1 on the board first time out for Todd Pletcher. Weather and track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray. The preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. Sloppy track, and we are off the turf today. That's 7th and 9th. We're scheduled for the grass. Both have come off. Here's our post parade, and here is proximity bias. The entry, they both break from the outside for Chad Brown.
Probably the one taking less money of the two entry mates, both firsters. This one has more of a turf pedigree and is a bred by Claiborne Farm.
Indexation. We'll see in a moment, I guess. Here's the 2, Fangirl. 8-1. John Terranova.
Yeah, Fangirl. This is a filly by Dialed In. 8-1 online. Will debut with Lasix.
Give the 1A.
We'll see. Here's the 1A. So here's the one who has the extreme outside, daughter of Malibu Moon with Javier Castellano.
Yeah, this one probably the better runner of the two horses. Been working well at Monmouth. They've both been at Monmouth and supposedly is a runner.
Private Beach. Big price. 19-1. Blinkers go on for Tony Dutrow.
Yeah, Private Beach, Louis Reyes. Blinkers do go on, and didn't show much at 17-1 first time out.
4-1 on Blonde Moment, trained by Dermot Magner with Manny Franco.
Yeah, Blonde Moment, a first-time starter. Will debut with Lasix, which for a daughter of Jimmy Creed, getting a little bit at the middle window, at least not getting ignored.
Here's Philly Joel. We saw debut at Saratoga for Rudy Rodriguez.
Broke a little slowly that day, shuffled back to last and made a nice run towards the outside. It wasn't the strongest of fields, but ran like a horse that will improve with a start.
Rockin' MZ. Here's the Todd Pletcher first-timer that Maggie was talking about. John Velasquez rides.
Yeah, I'm surprised the money's not going anywhere there, but Lasix, Zayat, Velasquez, Pletcher usually means they like to win. This 2-year-old filly should be precocious.
Champagne Bliss take and play 15-1 morning line, 7-1 right now for Jimmy Toner.
Has one race under her belt, and you know, it's actually not much of a pedigree, but probably more dirt. Ran on the turf first time out, a total stab.
In Love, first-timer for Brian Lynch and Jose Ortiz aboard.
Yeah, this is a horse they paid $14,000. This is a daughter of Reddy's Image, and Jose Ortiz getting aboard is a good sign.
That is your field for the race that kicks off this late pick 4. Want to remind everybody, 2 huge days of Breeders' Cup races are hosted at Belmont and Santa Anita this Saturday. You can score a bonus for jumping in on the action early. Hit the early pick 4 at Belmont or Santa Anita on Saturday and hit or split 2 million points. Get the details at NYRABets.com as we take a look here at Philly Joel. So we saw that debut back in mid-August at Saratoga. She didn't get out good early on. She had to go 7 wide around the turn. She made up a lot of ground in that race as we look at your pick 4 ticket, and she's part of it.
Yeah, 1, 5, 6, 7 in here. I mean, if I had to include somebody else, it obviously would be the first-time starter of the 4. I just think the 5 experience could win over. And the 7, I thought ran a better race, gets the blinkers. 4, 5, 6, 8, which is all of them. Because of the scratch with War Cabinet, it's actually, I'm leaving out more than 1. Excuse me, the 2 is in there. So the 4 is out of race number 7, War Cabinet. It was a late scratch, just got announced about a couple hours ago before I put in this ticket, or after I put in this ticket. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. I'm taking a shot in the last race. I think the 15 is going to be your favorite. I like the 10 Bobby G, and I'll tell you why. Those races over at Santa Anita were maiden special weight races. Show me the loot. Decent horses. Gormley. A lot of people forget about him. Now this horse is in for 40 in an off-the-turf event. Son of Awesome again, who's a son of Deputy Minister. They usually love an off-surface, so I'm hoping Bobby G runs. Jose Ortiz gets aboard.
All right, that's Paul's pick 4 ticket. We've been looking at Philly Joel. I love the way she is warming up right now. Here's the debut. She did not break well at all in this debut. Taken back to last, and boy, did she go wide around that turn.
It's a good example of how much a break can affect you, because she only broke about a half to 3/4 of a length slowly, but at that point she lost all her position, steadied back to last, and sometimes they just sort of suck up for their 4th or 5th place finishes. I didn't feel like that was really the case with Billy Joel, because she made a big run on the turn, and she was really finished near coming to wire. Now, to a certain respect, it wasn't that strong a field. We saw the horse who won and got disqualified come back and fail badly as a short price.
9th of 11
but
in the Pocahontas.
Still, I thought that she did some running. No, actually, that horse ran here at a short price and ran 3rd. But the winner of this horse got put up. Yeah, she did not run well either. No, that's a point well taken also. And it really wasn't that fast a race, the Pocahontas, to be honest with you. But she was running at the end. I think a good first-time starter will beat her, and the 1A may be a good first-time starter. But the experience has to count. Doesn't that run look like the kind of horse that's just going to improve that experience and probably will be closer to the pace today?
Well, experience always wins over in these races. Sometimes you're always projecting that these horses can run in the morning, but the 5 and now the 7's taking some money. Now, here's the first-time starter, the 1. Now, reportedly, the 1A is the better of the group, but you never really know. I'm sure they've been working together. The thing that worries me a little bit, Chad's horses that have been working at Monmouth have not done great when they were going to Saratoga. I don't know about to Belmont.
Well,
could be different.
I know we saw at least one that was a runner. I believe the Mark Valesky horse that won and paid $19 that looks like a stakes horse. And these horses are getting pounded at the window. I don't think this is just random money on Chad Brown, and they are a heavy favorite in the multi-race bets.
We saw a Chad Brown horse earlier in the day break horribly and go on to win by, I believe, about 6 lengths.
Yeah, the 1,
Chamber, who was a second-time starter.
Sightseeing. It might be one of Sightseeing's first foals to win a race.
Yeah.
Wasn't much of a field, but she was impressive in winning.
Meanwhile, with more on this entry for Chad Brown, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Well, guys, I was kind of more won over by the 1A indexation as I watched him out on the track for one reason, and that her stablemate Proximity Bias was really green when she got over here. Has since calmed down a little bit now on the backside with Irad Ortiz, but indexation, she's just really moving effortlessly over this racetrack. And the fact that I think maybe she might have some ability on the turf will translate well to the fact that it's a really tight track right now. I mean, most of the water has evaporated, but it's still sealed, so it's really kind of on the harder side, and horses like her do appreciate that. Now, moving on to another first-time starter. That's number 8, In Love, as Brian Lynch will send this one out. And she is the daughter of Reddy's Image, who is a precocious 2-year-old. You know, she looks extremely fit. But on the flip side of that, Brian Lynch's horses are typically ones who carry their weight well. And she's actually a little bit more on the kind of one-sided you know, look to her, where she doesn't carry that much muscle mass or weight. So I don't know. She's okay in here, but I'll kind of take the wait and see an approach with her. Now, Philly Joel, as you guys were talking about, I'm leaning towards what Andy was saying, in that she is a horse that last time I think was in a weaker spot. Whereas you could say that physically. I mean, she looked bigger and stronger than many of her other foes in there. Whereas today, she looks small. She does not stand out in this field. And I think she's probably up against it. Though the horse that I'm interested in that has experience is number 7, Champagne Bliss, who will make her first start on main track here. And I think she's actually more suited to that. She gets the blinkers on. She's a far more relaxed and focused. And I think we'll see a better showing from this horse as she sits at 10-1, second longest or third longest price here in this field, Greg.
Yeah, turf debut for the 7, Champagne Bliss. Now to the main track. We'll see what happens here in start number 2. For that Jimmy Toner runner, but this entry going back and forth between even money and 6-5 right now, solidly favored to kick off this late pick 4.
Yeah, don't forget, they are the 1 and the 1A, but they break on the complete outside of this field, so they'll break from the 7 and 8 slot.
Is that, it feels like a track, we're seeing horses staying towards the outside most of the races. I don't think we've seen that the rail is bad or anything. Just sort of following up on yesterday where we saw the rail be so strong. Seemed after the rain, the track's pretty fair.
I thought,
some speed do okay. We've seen some closers run okay.
Well, Chamber was the best, obviously. And then if you look at some of the other races, Vincento came up the rail. A couple horses came up the rail.
No, Vincento didn't come up the rail. Vincento was dueling outside of the speed. Probably about
yeah, but didn't he come up the rail?
Nope.
I thought he did.
Nope, was dueling outside the 5 horse in that race.
Yeah.
Big
But wasn't
yesterday.
far off the rail, I mean, to be fair.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
second winner was on the rail in the turn and angled out to about the 4 path in mid-stretch, but rallied inside of horses.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the rail's bad. I'm just saying I think we don't
I
have a
think
track
it's
like
playing.
yesterday.
I think it's playing pretty fair than yesterday. Yeah.
See what happens here. Start of this late pick 4, even money again on the entry for Chad Brown. Proximity bias, the 1. Indexation, the 1A. He's been working quicker of the 2. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Last few to move into line here is In Love and Jose Ortiz, just a little reluctant to come up. They're stepping forward now and going in and just waiting for this favorite entry of Proximity Bias and Indexation, who are at even money. Indexation coming up to the outside stall under Javier Castellano. Goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. And it is Fangirl on the inside out for the lead. Private Beach has some early foot as well. And then it's Champagne Bliss away running in 3rd position. Proximity Bias is 4th. And they're followed by Indexation on the outside. In Love is next. And then it's back to Blonde Moment. Philly Joel to the outside. And Rocket MZ at the back of the pack as they pass the half-mile pole. The first quarter was 22.21 seconds. Fangirl and Private Beach kick on. These two opening up 5 lengths from the others. Then it's Champagne Bliss, Proximity Bias, Indexation's going up on the far outside. In Love is behind them. Philly Joel's about 8 lengths off the lead and under pressure. And they're followed by Blonde Moment and a 7-length gap back to Rocket MZ at the back of the pack. 45.86 was the half. They're into the stretch. Fangirl the leader. Private Beach, Proximity Bias closing the gap on the inside. In Love is coming too. And then it's Indexation and Philly Joel on the far outside, but it's Proximity Bias who has come up the rail to take the lead and opens up by 2.5. And then it's Private Beach in second. Proximity Bias wins it by 4. And then it was Private Beach, followed by Philly Joel, Indexation, and Fangirl.
Proximity Bias, half of that entry for Chad Brown. Klarovich Stables wins first time out. Philly Joel again drops back to last, makes a late run. She gets 3rd.
And how about a Claiborne horse? Bred at Claiborne. The
Yeah,
winner here.
got her a flatter.
And maybe the wrong half of the entry. Might have been the other one. It felt like the 1A Indexation was struggling a bit with the racetrack, but Proximity Bias, and she came right up the gold rail, Paul. Maybe the rail's gold now.
You know, it's funny, at the top of the lane, I thought this race was going to run 2, 3. Didn't look like the 1, didn't look like any of the favorites were coming. The 8 was making a big move. Give Louis Reyes credit in the 3. Blinkers went on Private Beach, who ran a pretty good second here. I think Philly Joel, you're right, does pick up the pieces for 3rd, but you get a little bit of a price behind
47 to 1.
Yeah, your favorite. And here's the thing. It's just crazy. The word was out that the 1A was better than the 1. The 1A did not like the racetrack. You could tell on the backside. He was lugging out a little bit. He did not want any of it. He showed a little grit to get in that photo for 3rd.
So Proximity Bias, impressive here. Down to the fence. In the stretch here, taking advantage. And pulls away from this group. Very close again for 3rd. Might have been the 5 here, Philly Joel, but no doubt about your winner. Daughter of Flatter with the win here for Klarovich Stables. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for the win for trainer Chad Brown at 6-5. We'll make this race official for you when we come back from a short timeout. Underway in our pick 4 on this Friday afternoon.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live, we just saw a daughter of Flatter get the job done here to kick off the late pick for those proximity bias. Flatter, of course, daughter of AP Indy, has produced 6 millionaires, including Grade 1 winner West Coast, the champion 3-year-old. Also is sired Flat Out. Taurus had the $520,000 sale topper at Phasic tipped in July 2018, now standing for $40,000 at Claiborne Farm. So this daughter of Flatter, proximity bias. Picture time here in the debut for Klarovich Stables with Irad Ortiz Jr. making the right move, going to the fence.
I think a lot of people forget the precocity of seeking the gold. I know there's Flatter on the top side, obviously the Claiborne sire, but seeking the gold on the bottom side, he's always been so precocious and, like you said, bred by Claiborne. Congrats.
Standing by with a winning trainer, Chad Brown. Let's go to Maggie.
And here with winning conditioner Chad Brown, who sent out proximity bias. And Chad, we were just kind of discussing, we thought that indexation may be the better one heading into the race, but was the track a factor today?
Possibly. They both trained well. They were hard to separate. We felt like proximity bias was sharper, better made to sprint, so maybe today she'd have the upper hand on her, and then she handled the wet well. And then indexation, always, she's a big filly, 2-turn looking horse, but trains with a lot of ability. We'll appreciate more ground and probably a drier track next time.
All right, well, we'll turn the page and look forward to tomorrow as well, too, as you send out Robert Bruce in the Joe Hurst Turf Classic, and a horse that has yet to go the 1.5 miles with you, but getting there, obviously, and getting the job done at Arlington. How's he training into this one after that Grade 1 performance?
He's training really well, this horse. He's held his form well. He's a very consistent horse. I think he'll stay 1.5 miles. The turf condition's a concern. I'm not exactly sure how he'll handle really soft turf, but we'll find out.
Right. And also Spirit Animal, he's pointing to the Pilgrim tomorrow. And how has he kind of progressed for you? You seem to know how to win these types of 2-year-old races.
He's a horse that we've always liked. He had good reviews from the farm before he came in, and he trained well all summer. And unfortunately, his first start got rained off. He had run on the dirt, and just okay. We got him on the turf late in the year, and he late in the meet at Saratoga, and luckily broke his maiden and showed what all the promise he had shown us in the mornings on the turf. And he needs to take another step forward and handle the soft ground tomorrow. And if he continues to improve, I think he'll be right there.
It's a very good race. Looking forward to that one, and best of luck with your runners tomorrow, and congrats here.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys.
A Spirit Animal, another youngster for these same owners, Klarovich Stables, who his turf debut winning performance, that was at Saratoga, so we'll see him in the Pilgrim coming up tomorrow.
Maggie better be rooting for Spirit Animal. She did a rare interview with Seth Klarman after he won in Saratoga.
That's right.
A lot of jealous people out there with that one.
By the way, if you got proximity bias home to Private Beach, you got a giant exacta considering that entry was bet so heavily. And that double is not awful to start off your Naira late pick 5.
Take a look.
You're like Mama.
At the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, 44,000 plus in the pool. Mama Mary kicked things off back in race 5 before we came on here. That was for Joe Sharp. And of course, favorite entry, getting the job done in race 6. Long way to go here. This 7th race taken off the turf, was 1.25 miles inner turf, now 1 mile and 1/8 main track.
Yeah, and a late scratch of War Cabinet actually got scratched midday, and now Pivotal Connection. None of these horses, Andy, have run on a dirt surface besides, what's the 5, I guess?
It's very
the 2.
It's very strange because it's hard to make the number 2 horse in this race cruise with Brandon. Yet somehow the only horse with dirt experience and a win in the dirt, the number 5 horse in this race, is a clear-cut third choice in the multi-race bets. 5, 6, 8 can win. Don't you think the one who has a win on the dirt is supposed to be favored?
You would think.
It's odd, right? Well, the one has synthetic experience over in Europe, so that counts.
More on this race coming up in a moment. We're 21 minutes away. Joe Hurst Turf Classic coming up this weekend. Grade 1 winner Sadler's Joy. Already proven at a mile and a half. He'll try and rebound from his sword dancer and 3-year-old Carrick. Taking on older horses off that Secretariat win. We'll talk about that race next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record-setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Imagining Twilight Eclipse now coming on through, and Main Sequence is there. Big Blue Kitten on the far outside. It's Main Sequence and Twilight Eclipse. Those 2 down to the wire and a thrilling finish that goes to Main Sequence.
Main Sequence is back in 2014. Fractious in the gate for the 3rd straight start. Broke dead last. Waits on horses in the stretch. Had to withstand a jockey's objection. Steward's inquiry. Gets the win in the end. So that was the 2014 edition of the Joe Hurst Turf Classic.
Some pretty good names on there. The Bucks Boys got to be one of my favorites.
Quite a group.
That's a group right there.
Theatrical. Manila theatrical. Man, they were monsters.
English Channel seems like he's not getting his due, huh? Pretty good group.
Take a look at this year's field, and we know Sadler's Joy, he is already proven at this 1.5-mile distance, but problem is, Connections were expecting a big race from him in the Sword Dancer, and it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen, but here's the deal. Glorious Empire that day took that field gate to wire. Now, when he ran second in the Manhattan, there was, listen, we've gone over this race so many times. There are so many different rides that you could go to in here, but Sadler's Joy, I thought, had a decent trip in here. He was roughed up at the start, but was able to run a nice little second to spring quality. Seems like he's always right there, but his run needs to be timed perfectly. And he threw in a clunker last time. Maybe he'll throw in a better race
He's
tomorrow.
usually on his game. He had 3 near misses in a row until that Sword Dancer last time out. Here is Tom Albertrani on how he rebounds out of the Sword Dancer.
He came out of the race great. He's been training really well as always, and for whatever reason, he just didn't fire the one day, and hopefully we just put a line through that race and regroup and look forward to the next one. But he's been training really well. I think the big sweeping turns here, I think he appreciates it. He's always run well here, and we're kind of facing the same group of horses as always. It's just hopefully he runs his race, and if he shows up and like he always has, I think he's going to be right there.
Carrick is turning into a neat story. So 38-1 shot. Upsets analyze it in the Grade 1 Secretariat. Now Tom Morley says, you know what? Forget the Hill Prince, where we would have had to give away weight. We're going to get weight, go against older horses, trying to become the first horse 3-year-old since 2004, Kitten's Joy, to win this race.
Personally, well, obviously Tom with the weight, perhaps the case, but this is a horse that may thrive with distance. He improved dramatically the mile and 4 Secretariat. Now he gets more distance in this race. Can he close the gap with these? We'll see, but I like taking a shot.
Tom Morley not scared away by the competition of facing older horses.
It's not something that I'm afraid of. I mean, look, we've got Mendelssohn and Gronkowski taking on the older horses in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and I think that the mile and there were two options in New York. We run against straight 3-year-olds in the Hill Prince at a mile and an eighth, which is a trip that's probably on the shade short for him. And as a Grade 1 winner, we carry a penalty and have to give weight away to the field. As a Grade 1 winning 3-year-old, we actually receive weight from every horse in the field. Going a mile and a half, and I'm a big believer in weight. They have to give us £5, the whole field. Well, if we were in Europe, people would say that's a 7-length head start. So, he ran a 2 1/4 faster than Robert Bruce did winning the Arlington Million. If they want to give us a second, if we can run faster than him over the same trip down there, and we get £5, then I'm hoping my horse fits very well.
Taking a shot, I like it. And here again, no 3-year-old has won this race since Kitten's Joy back in 2004. And if it doesn't go according to plan, they have a backup plan going to the Hollywood Derby, Grade 1 as a backup.
Yeah, they do have a backup going to the Hollywood Derby. And, listen, this is a race where at 1-5 Imperial Hint, it's just going to be impossible to beat in here. But Silver Ride is definitely a horse that, listen, he's got a very good resume. 5 wins in 19 starts. He does have 2 wins here at Belmont. He's fresh. He's had some issues, but Brian Lynch likes to run him fresh, or he likes to run fresh this gray, and this was his win on June 22nd. He grits it out, and he's been able to string wins together before. I like how he saw the 4 here and sort of gritted it out towards the end, so that's what he's going to need to do.
Ran big off the bench. This will be the 3rd off the layoff. Here's Brian Lynch on Silver Ride this weekend.
If Imperial Hint doesn't show up, then it's anybody's race. And I mean, I think on his number, Silver Ride, and some of the races he's come out of and horses he's beat, he fits with this group. I could see the Ray Handel's horse probably try and be the speed of the race, and I see Imperial Hint and us, right there in a stalking position. I mean, looks like a 1-horse race with Imperial Hint, but you can never be frightened of 1 horse, so I think he fits with the rest of them.
Well, everybody, and rightly so, very aware and fearful of Imperial Hint in the Vosburg. He is without question the one to beat. He's 1-5 on the morning line in that race. What a weekend stake schedule coming up. Jockey Club Gold Cup, Diversified, Thunder Snow, Mendelssohn, Joe Hurst Turf Classic. We just talked about the Vosburg as well, and the Grade 3 Pilgrim for the youngsters. And then Sunday, a couple of stakes races as well. But phenomenal lineup, and tomorrow's show, must-see TV. Am I crazy?
Yes.
Or still crazy? I mean, can anyone go with that horse early on, or can he get away?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Can't beat Imperial. I happen to think Ryan Lynch is running the 2nd best horse, Silver Ride. I mean, he's the 2nd choice, so
yeah.
It's not exactly brilliant ground. Still crazy. He's a really neat horse. He's not winning the Vosburg.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, bet him, Greg.
Didn't say I wanted to bet him.
You said yes the other day.
No, come on.
No, I'm kidding.
Imperial Hint's 1-5. He's going to win the race, but it's going to be interesting to see. He's going to be alone on the lead in that race.
Listen, you're taking a shot. The thing is that 3rd or 4th money is good in here. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with running 3rd or 4th in the Grade 1 that's worth $350,000.
No, absolutely. 7th race coming up again. It's off the turf. It's now a mile and an eighth pivotal connection. 6-5 state's debut for Team Valor here, and Belmont's time for a paddock report. We're going to go to Maggie Wolfendale. Of course, it's brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Now standing Bayern for $15,000.
Thanks, Greg. And number 6, Pivotal Connection. She's making, as you said, her stateside debut as well as her dirt debut here for Belmont. And really, besides that, I really like what I see from her. If this race was as it was originally carded, I would be all about Pivotal Connection. She's really kind of striding out, strutting her stuff here in the paddock. She looks so strong and very well conditioned with that respective layoff in mind. But because she is striding out so well, that kind of big walk like that, that's very indicative of a horse who wants more turf. Now, she's had much more success overseas on the synthetic surface, so we'll see how that translates to the sloppy sealed track here today. Your guess is as good as mine. I really don't have that much to offer other than she presents herself more as a turf horse. Moving on to number 8, Silver Shaker. Well, at least there's plenty of dirt pedigree for Silver Shaker to try it here today for Chad Brown, looking for those back-to-back wins. And despite being a Lonhro, I actually think she might be okay on this surface. She's have to, such horses as Simply Spiteful and Pray to Rayo, to name a few. So they were much more proficient on the main track. She looks like a horse that could be versatile enough to handle it. So Silver Shaker is your current favorite, and for me, rightfully so, Greg.
Never been on dirt. You want to make this one 7-5?
I think that Maddie's Magnum should be favored in here. She won an off the turf race in Saratoga and showed that she could handle the dirt. I'm not saying she has to win here. I am mystified. The other thing about this race is there is absolutely no pace. Now, I think that's one of the reasons people might like Pivotal Connection, because she has been reasonably close, albeit on synthetic in Europe. So maybe the hope is that she goes the lead.
I am mad at you right now.
Why?
You said you never play horses off Dundalk.
No, it's Navan. Is it Navan? There's that track that Andy Beyer says they never win from Ireland. I think it's Navan.
No. Off 8-month layoffs, he does like them from Dundalk.
Don't knock Dundalk until you've been there, Paul.
There's Maddie's Magnum. So this horse was in a 4-horse field last time out, was dead last early. Actually, at about the halfway point of the race, was 10 lengths out of it. Somehow got up to win by a neck.
And Naples Legacy looked like a cinch on paper in that race. Listen, I'm not saying that she's going to win, and either 6 and 8 are wild cards. I just don't understand, looking at multi-race bets, why she's a distant third choice behind the other two, Pivotal Connection and Silver Shaker. They may not be able to stamp the dirt at all. Now, they still might win running a 70 buyer and beat Maddie's Magnum. Having said that, I just think Maddie's Magnum at least showed that she's not going to be eased at all likely in the dirt. Doesn't that count for something?
I was shot at David Donk earlier saying, maybe saying to Manny Franco, just do what John Velasquez did last time.
Yeah, right.
Just win.
Just win.
Win.
You know what? If you look at Maddie's Magnum, she's always passed horses, or she's always been right there, even her turf races.
I know she's bad in the turf, right?
No, right? She's broken slow from her last 3 starts. At least the last 2 on turf, but she was up against it. So
okay. So here's the filly that's making her stage debut. She's only been on turf and synthetic so far. She's shown at least a little ability in the main track workouts.
Well, here's the problem you have with this, like a 6 like Pivotal Connection is like here's a daughter they probably privately purchased, did Team Valor, and back-to-back wins. I get it. But they were $13,000 in a $14,000 maiden. A $14,000 maiden field is equivalent to a Golden Gate maiden field. Let's be honest.
So you're knocking Dundalk. It's you that's against Dundalk.
Yes,
that's what it really comes down to. You're projecting on me.
To hear, yeah.
But no, you're actually right. I mean, I'm teasing and I'm joking with you, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I know they were big fields, but it's hard to believe that she was running against any killers there.
Yeah, that's not the premier quality of Europe by any stretch there.
Did run at Leopardstown first time out. Well, was entered, left the gate.
It's a tough read.
8-5, right? I don't get even. I mean, it's the Chad Brown factor, right?
Well,
Silver Shaker, part of the reason even money.
Well, I'll say one thing: she's not going to be in front. I don't know who's going to be in front, but the other 3 will have to get left in the gate for her to be in front because she is slow with a capital S. She's also coming off a bad effort. Now, she ran well before that, and she'll certainly handle the distance. I don't know. She does have some dirt pedigree on the dam side, though.
Yeah, the Silver Charm mare, the one we're talking there is Chad Brown. A couple of victories already here this afternoon, and his Silver Shaker, the 8 even money, the filly we're talking about here.
I know I'm knocking the 6, but the 6 is at least carrying 13 pounds less than she carried last time, 8 months ago.
Yeah, how about that? Had to tote 135 pounds.
LF Roach was overweight that day.
Wow.
We know anyone was at Dundalk that day?
Make some calls. Get signed up, get started, play along. And you'll get a $200 new member bonus when you use the promo code Belmont Live. Play with Naira Bets and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Our post parade here coming up shortly for the 7th race. Again, it was scheduled for the grass, now on the sloppy main track, and the distance changed as well to 1 1/8 miles.
We have lost 29 turf races in 14 days of racing. To compare to last year, we had not lost a turf race in Belmont through the first 14 days of racing. But you know what that means? The weather's going to clear, and the next 23 days or 2 days of racing are going to be perfect here. And the forecast is good through the week. So
okay, good.
It's be beautiful
I
tomorrow,
refuse to be pessimistic. It's going to clear up. Once Greg Wolf leaves town, Paul, I think we're clear sailing.
That is true.
What does that mean?
It could be you.
You
could be you.
You know, you realize I did bring good weather with me when I came back here.
I don't remember that.
I'll queue up Michael Jackson Beat It if you want me to.
Wow, you guys want me out of here. Okay. Post parade coming up here for the 7th. Here's Cruise with Brandon. Dylan Davis will be aboard, very distant second on a race taken off the turf last out.
Yeah, and a good second the time before that, but another horse that's going to be coming from way off the pace, although showed a little bit more speed on the dirt last time.
Maddie's Magnum. We go to the 5, and this horse won on a race taken off the turf for David Donk.
She's the lone dirt winner, I believe, unless the 2-horse Cruise with Brand. No, she won the dirt too, but the faster of the dirt winners, and feels to me like an overlay at 5-2.
Pivotal Connection. This will be the first start in the States, coming in from Dundalk now with Belmont.
Yeah, and gets Lasix for her first start here for Team Valor and Joel Rosario. 8-5 right now, and currently your second choice.
I like her warm-up the best, I got to say that much. Silver Shaker, Chad Brown, even money, first time on dirt.
Yeah, listen, this is probably the Chad Brown factor. This horse has been favored 4 times and only has got 1 win. We'll see if she can run on dirt today in her debut.
Race 7 coming up next here on Belmont Park Live. Stick with us. Can Chad Brown collect another victory? The meet's leading trainer. How many times have we said that? Trying to get his 3rd winner of the afternoon.
Pushes back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Back on Belmont Park Live, getting set to load up here for race 7. We're just a minute to post here on this sloppy main track, going a mile and an eighth on a race that was been taken off the turf. Even money on Silver Shaker, the 8 for Chad Brown, and she's making her first start ever on dirt. Just should not be that low a price, right?
Well, the worry is like she was. Her lone win was she was basically 7 out of 8, 5 lengths out of it, and they were going 1:15 and 4. So she's going to be way out of it again today. But again, she might just circle this field. I don't know what to tell you.
It may be a battle of attrition, and she is the most talented runner in this race. But being the most talented runner on a turf surface and now being on a wet dirt track is two totally different things. I would never say anyone here couldn't win, though it's hard to make a case for the number 2 cruising with Brandon. But once again, 3-1 in the 5 in this field. It just doesn't make sense to me.
She's now 4-5, by the way, Silver Shaker, the 8, as we talk more about her. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And she is a tough proposition at that price. I will give you that. As we'll check back in, though, with the filly debuting here for the States in the first time, and that's number 6, Pivotal Connection, whom is a horse who I talked about how good of a mover she is and that big stride. Well, that is usually indicative of horses that prefer the turf. Generally speaking, turf horses will actually be much better movers, per se, than dirt horses. Why? I'm not really sure the science of it all, but also because turf is a more forgiving surface. But watching Pivotal Connection and how she warmed up here, I love the way she got over this surface. But then again, a mile and an eighth coming back off a layoff, it's a tough road to hoe, Greg.
I haven't seen her, and there she is, stepping in the gate. She hasn't been on a racetrack since December the 21st in terms of competition-wise, but she has looked impressive here warming up. We're set for race 7. Let's send it upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call.
They're all in line. They're off. Even beginning for the quartet. Pivotal Connection came out running on the lead. Silver Shaker on the outside. Cruise with Brandon, and Maddie's Magnum is last early on. So out of the chute, they hook up with the backstretch, and Pivotal Connection and Joel Rosario, the Irish Invader, on top here by 2, with Silver Shaker second on the outside. At the rail, it's Cruise with Brandon in third. Maddie's Magnum is 4th and 4 lengths from the front after a 24.73 opening quarter mile. So they go up the backstretch. Pivotal Connection the lead, about a length and 3/4 here. Silver Shaker on the outside, second and neck. Cruise with Brandon is third. Maddie's Magnum on hold at the back, and racing 4 from the front as Pivotal Connection continues to lead by a length and a half up the backstretch to Silver Shaker and Arad Ortiz. Then Cruise with Brandon third on the inside of Maddie's Magnum. 49.53 was the half, and they're moving for the far turn. It's been Pivotal Connection all the way so far. Silver Shaker's just a length and a half behind, traveling well enough inside the half-mile pole. Maddie's Magnum has taken up the position in third. Cruise with Brandon is under a drive and losing ground. Around the far turn, Pivotal Connection now coming under pressure. Silver Shaker's just a half length behind, and Maddie's Magnum is 2 lengths off of them. They make their way to the top of the stretch. 3/4, 1:14.34 seconds. And they're into the stretch with Pivotal Connection, holding off the competition so far. Silver Shaker and Maddie's Magnum still trying, though, and in with a shot as they come into the final furlong. On the rail, it's Pivotal Connection. Maddie's Magnum's on the far outside. Between those two, it's Silver Shaker, and the 3 of them come by the 16th pole, where Maddie's Magnum has taken the lead. And Maddie's Magnum is going to go on and win under Manny Franco. Silver Shaker got second, and third was Pivotal Connection.
Well, that was impressive by Maddie's Magnum, made even more impressive by the fact that she got floated out wide by Silver Shaker a little bit.
Yeah, listen, we said it before the race. This horse was 3-1 and effectively a 3-horse field, and she had a dirt win. I got to tell you something, people talk about, I know these off-the-turf races are not thrilling races in a lot of cases and such, but when you collect and you get that $8 in the window, it feels kind of thrilling, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, this horse was literally third choice. And here's the crazy part is you get an entry at Chad Brown, you got a $30 double for $2. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And this horse had a win, 1-for-1 over a surface. The 6 and 8 have never run over a dirt surface.
I thought she'd be favored here. Obviously, I'm wrong on that respect, way wrong, but I still think she should have been favored.
$30 double?
It paid like $13.90 for dollars,
Yeah.
like $27.80.
It's crazy. It's like $28. It's a great double.
Maddie's Magnum has had 2 races now in a row, taken off the turf, and now 2 victories as a result. 5-8, 6-2, 3-1 here on Maddie's Magnum. David Dunk, Manny Franco. Get the job done here, beating an even money favorite along the way. We'll have the prices for you when we come back. We will set up the 8th for you as well. Maddie's Magnum. Back-to-back wins now for the 3-year-old filly. We'll be back.
Once again, among the world's leading sires of stakes horses and graded stakes horses, Warfront has sired 8 champions and 8 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include European champion U.S. Navy Flag and Lancaster Bomber, plus an ever-growing list of 2018 graded stakes winners. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. International Super Sire Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
David Donk told him in the paddock, just do what John Velasquez did last time out in the race, taking off the turf, and he does. Manny Franco, right? 6 wins away from 1,000.
Yeah, he's getting there, right? And there you see a lot of milestones coming, and Manny's getting close to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, and then 6,000 for Johnny V. Hopefully these will all happen before 2018. Johnny V's, like, his look is statuesque, isn't it? In that picture?
Does he look as good as Winston K in the last race yesterday?
Maddie's Magnum, $8.70 for the win. So Franco aboard for the winning ride and trained by David Donk, who's standing by with Maggie Wolfendale.
Here with Dave Donk, one of my favorite people to interview, by the way, as Maddie's Magnum. She goes back-to-back on off-the-turf events here, Dave. She was fairly tenacious in the stretch, too, I thought.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty game about it. Manny was cruising down the backside, and a little different, a little wet track today. So, you know, like when Johnny got off her last time, I asked him, I think maybe she'll do over the winter. And so a little lucky today. It came off. It's an easier spot than if it was on the grass, and a lot of money.
And we were talking about, before we went on here, and I'm still going to mess up his name for some unknown reason, Veterans Beach. There we go. But, sorry, a 2-year-old winner up at Saratoga. Ran down in Laurel last weekend, bit of a bog down there. But coming back this year, the Futurity, it's on the grass.
Yeah, I ran him last week in Laurel. They delayed the race a week. It was supposed to be scheduled the week before because of the hurricane. They moved it. It was a really slow race, but he got to the lead, 16th pole, and they came and got him. Trevor McCarthy rode him and really liked him and thought the soft ground got to him. Finished third, beating a length and a quarter. I'm going to run him back next weekend. Yeah, the Belmont Futurity has changed. It's 3/4 on the grass, and obviously for those kind of horses, we don't have many opportunities. So he seemed to come out of it really well, and hope that the weather's nice all week next week.
Obviously, management here kind of maybe having in thought that the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint for juveniles is back in the card, so maybe that's why they switched it?
Yeah, I think part of the reason is it's used to be the history with 7/8 on the dirt. It's become a very light and weak race over the years. Next weekend, if I'm correct, there are 3 win-in-your-ins. One's at Keeneland, one's at California. They're all for the juvenile sprint. I don't know if I'm that kind of horse, but regardless, it's a lot of money, and you don't get many opportunities to run a sprinter on the grass as a 2-year-old. So nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That is the truth. That is your philosophy, too. Always keeping the horses in on these off-the-turf events, and it paid off here today with Maddie's Magnum.
Yeah, a lot of money. You got to run.
That's the motto we all should live by here, guys. Gotta run.
Gotta be in it to win it for sure. Maddie's Magnum, couple of races taken off the turf, couple of victories.
Yeah, I mean, that's all Davis has got to keep entering and hoping the races get rained off. And, you know, she's not bad at the turf either.
No,
absolutely
she's competitive. Yeah, she's very competitive. And there's the pick 5 follow along. And this is not going to be that bad. I'll tell you why. Mama Mary had been favored 3 straight times, and she had disappointed. A lot of people got off that bandwagon today, and she paid $8. And then Maddie's Magnum was a definite overlay and proximity bias. I get it, but that pick 3 still paid okay, over $100.
Naira Bet, late pick 5. It's the best bet in racing. It's arguably the best bet there is in life.
In life?
It's pretty good. Value's been incredible.
It is.
The only way to play it, by the way, is with Naira Bets.
True.
Or on site in New York. So if you do not reside in the state of New York, must be with Naira Bets to get down. And again, it's your final chances to play this, I believe, through October 7th. Final chances to play this Naira Bets late pick 5. Race 8 here coming up. This is a fun race. It's going to be a good one coming up. 6 furlongs, New York breds. Allowance optional 40 race. Stoney Bennett trying to win 3 in a row, as we told you in the open of the show. But right now it's Fleet Irish favored the other Linda Rice runner. Of course, she has Stoney Bennett as well. We'll talk more about this race coming up in just a moment. We're going to step aside for a short timeout. Much more coming up on Belmont Park Live right after this. About 20 minutes to post here in the 8th race ahead. We'll be back with our paddock report from Maggie Wolfendale on our post parade right after this, and talk a little Patch and Todd Pletcher's weekend contenders next.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale with you. And we're going to take a look at the Breeders' Cup Win In Your In schedule. A lot on the line the next couple of weekends here in New York. Of course, we've talked a lot about Joe Hirsch Turf Classic, Fosburg, Jockey Club Gold Cup. Following weekend, 4 more Win In Your In races.
It's going to be a great, this is the best time of year at Belmont, and the weather's going to clear up just in time, and so much good race to look forward to.
Well, we know Diversify, he is the one to beat in the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. As we take a look at the field that's going to line up against him, and Patch going to take a run at him here, who actually won his 4-year-old return to the races. Third in last year's Belmont Stakes. Could he improve a little bit on Saturday?
Well, he could improve a little bit and still run 5th or 6th. He looks a little over his head, doesn't he? I mean, he had a very good trip in the Woodward when he finished 5th, and this is a much tougher field, and we'll see how the pace, but if the race falls apart, which it needs to, isn't Gronkowski a better horse?
Say this for him. If maybe you think he can be, he gets better at Belmont. Here's Todd Pletcher on his many contenders coming up this weekend, including Patch.
Patch is doing really well. You know, he's a consistent training horse. He looks phenomenal like he always does. Always carries a good coat and plenty of condition. You know, I think he'd benefit from a really hot pace, which on paper looks like could happen. So hope he gets a good trip. He seems to have run well here at Belmont before. You know, he's a respectable third in the Belmont. Won his allowance race back here this year. So I think the 1.25 miles suits him, and you know, he's in good form. But he's got to step his game up a notch to win a race like this. My biggest concern is just, you know, he didn't run well on a soft course at Saratoga. So with all the rain we've had this week and this morning, I'm not fully sure we're going to run yet. We'll kind of evaluate the conditions tomorrow and see if, you know, we feel like it's too soft for him or not.
Opry is closing in the center, and here comes Opry and Javier Castellano right on by them. And Opry kicks it in late and wins, going away in the end.
We'd, you know, seen some very good works from him on the turf, so we felt like he was a little better on the grass. I too was a little concerned. It seemed like, especially around the far turn, he was struggling a little bit, but once he got straightened away for home, and then he really leveled off and finished very strongly. He's doing well. You know, I have a little concern about how soft the turf course may be. He doesn't have any experience on that. But he's done very well physically since the with anticipation, and you know, just hoping he handles the course.
Going to be a busy weekend for Todd Pletcher, and this is a look at the field for the Grade 3 Pilgrim. He'll send out Opry in this spot. The rematch with Some Like It Hot Brown, and of course the colt that we were hearing about from earlier with Chad Brown, Spirit Animal.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit Animal's going to have to improve off the maiden win, and he may well do that. They're lightly raced horses. But if Opry improves and he's more professional in this race, he's going to be a handful. I mean, as of now, he's the best male turf horse I think we've seen run the East Coast. A lot can change between now and the Breeders' Cup or even next year. But he was good up in Saratoga, and he didn't even know what he was doing.
Aside from the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Spirit Animal, I think, is the type of horse that you need to stay and nudge on a lot, and I think there's going to be more there, and a horse that wants to go a little bit longer in distance, and I think that will happen in time, where I think Opry's just a little bit more advanced.
That's going to be fun. Grade 3 Pilgrim, part of an outstanding lineup. Win of Urine races coming up this weekend. Diversify headlining that entire group, so it will be fun. I'll be watching.
Okay. Will you?
I won't be hosting. I'll be watching.
Okay.
We'll
try to live up to your lofty expectations, Greg.
8th race.
Are you ready for that?
I have full faith in you guys. 8th race coming up next. 6 furlongs, New York bred allowance optional claiming race, and Linda Rice, pair of runners in this group. Stoney Bennett, the 3, probably the one to beat, probably the one to catch, although it looks like Desert the 5 is going to keep that one company. Not favored right now. It's the stablemate Fleet Irish who is, but there's Stoney Bennett trying to make it 3 in a row.
Stoney Bennett will be the favorite by post time over the 5 Desert, just the early money right now. You know, Stoney Bennett was absolutely terrific up in Saratoga. And the thing is, he's a horse that showed real promise early in his career. So it's not like these races came out of nowhere. It seems like Linda Rice has done a very good job of resurrecting him, whether or not it was the gelding or just getting him back into good form.
Yeah, it seems like she just freshened him up. And you're right, this horse was bet first time out for Ollie Figgins from the rail here at Belmont on September 15th and got the job done. Now, since being gelded, he's won easily in a downpour at Saratoga, and then he did this last time out. But he's not going to be able to get away with these kind of fractions, or at least he's not going to be able to be in front by this much turning for home, because Desert will be right on him, the 5. There's some other horses in here with some pace, and there's some other horses in here with a lot more quality than what he beat last time.
Well, Stoney Bennett, look, he's quick. And Zombie was in that race when he won for 50 last time at Saratoga. Zombie's not slow by any means. But Desert, the 5, is quick already, and now he's adding blinkers. So it's going to be fascinating to see these two go head-to-head early on in this race. I thought as a result of that, this horse right here, I love What a Catch in this spot. Stoney Bennett was all alone on the lead last time out when What a Catch faced him on August 30th. This horse was running him down near every step of the way. He came up short. He didn't get there. But Stoney Bennett had the lead all to himself. If he gets a little pace tool up front, this horse can be tough.
Well, he could beat Stoney Bennett. The question is whether or not you think he's the best of the other horses in the race. If you do, and I don't know what price will be because I can't see our multi-race bets right now, because it'll probably come down from 8 to 1. If I can see what you're saying, that he's value relative, I think, to Stoney Bennett is what you mean. The question is, do you like some other horses in here, or maybe you just like What a Catch?
You know, What a Catch
like
changed. He changed his running style, right? He used to be a front runner, and I think he just, you know, Stoney Bennett, he couldn't run with him early, couldn't run with a couple of horses early, and they figured out, wow, he might be better from off the pace. So a little bit like his daddy, Justin Phillip, he likes to be a little bit tactical.
Time for a paddock report. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Now standing Curlin for $150,000. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Thank you, guys. And we'll take a look at Stoney Bennett, who is riding that 2-race win streak into this allowance for the New York breds, as it feels as though Linda just has him going very well, because honestly, I wasn't overly in love with the way he looked coming back off that layoff, because he just didn't look as though he filled out. But with each race now, he's actually put on more muscle, and he looks stronger overall. Now, he has gotten a little bit warm here in the paddock, so I don't necessarily love that, but it's not necessarily out of character with him either. Rudy Rodriguez will send out 2 from the inside post here, including number 2, Horoscope, who is turning back in distance here once again from the 7 to the 6. And maybe you're of the mind that if he doesn't get the lead, he doesn't win, which actually looks pretty true here, to be honest. And his form over a wet track isn't good either. Those things will probably mean he runs last. But here in the paddock, he looks better than ever. He's super sharp for this turn back in distance. I just love what I'm seeing from him. He's the one that, as soon as I walked down in here into the paddock, my eye was just drawn immediately to Horoscope. And same thing can be said for a horse who never runs to his looks, but I feel obligated to talk about him. That's number 9, Heavy Metal. This horse has got to put it together at some point. The fact that Belmont and Connections continue to keep him in this spot, continue to race him throughout this year, says that he shows something in the morning to be capable of winning here. So physically, he looks absolutely superb once again. Will he ever put it together, though, Greg?
I could not agree with more of you.
8 to 1 on Heavy Metal coming up. But our favorite right now, still Linda Rice, and she has a pair of runners coming up. We'll have the post parade from the 8th right after this.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back to in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on. They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NyraBets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NyraBets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Long's got a turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live, coming out for the post parade here in race 8. We kick things off with sword fighter Rudy Rodriguez, Luis Saez. This horse with some quickness inside.
First time on the dirt for trainer Rudy Rodriguez. Has some very nice efforts on wet, sealed tracks out of town.
Another Rudy Rodriguez runner, Horoscope. He was beat by the Caretaker last start.
I thought this horse had a little bit of a look in here, and by Longview Stables, good friends of mine, give them a little bit of a shout out. David Cohen aboard.
The speedy Stoney Bennett looking for 3 in a row for Linda Rice.
Going to try to wire the field. We'll see how much pressure Desert puts on him. If not, he could be clear.
Fleet Irish stablemate of Stoney Bennett. Linda Rice off the claim.
Hot, the claim box is right, and the horse has been sharp too, and might be a player. Not missed the exacta here at Belmont.
Jorge Navarro sends out Desert, who's quick already. Now he adds blinkers.
This is a tougher field than the ones that he's been facing. We'll see if he can deal with the speed of Stoney Bennett and hold off the others. It's a tough class test.
19-1. This is the biggest price on the board here. Benevolence for Michael Tenuzzo.
0 for 9 here at Belmont. Does like to run second. And 8 career seconds and 24 career starts.
Here's what a catch who tried to run down Stoney Bennett at Saratoga back on August 30th, trained by Todd Pletcher.
Greg makes some good points about this horse. Thought there were others that might be a little bit faster, but he's not out of it at a very square price right now.
And heavy metal on the outside at 7:01 here, Joel Rosario for Belmont.
He, too, will have to run back to his best race to win here, but he ended up moving a little too soon in a race that totally collapsed last time out, and he likes it wet.
Rudy Rodriguez, he's sending out a pair of runners in this 8th race. Maggie Wolfendale standing by with Rudy.
Greg and Rudy and I watching these horses warm up right in front of us, but Rudy sending out the rail runner. We'll start with him, that sword fighter. He's second off of a layoff and getting back to the main track, especially on a wet one where he has some pretty good races. Now, unfortunately, last time Junior involved with a spill, but luckily we'll see him back in the entries Wednesday. And I know you're a big supporter of Junior's, but talk a little bit about sword fighter and decision to put him in this spot.
He was training very good for the race. Yes, unfortunately that happened to him, but he looked like he come back to the barn in good shape, and he don't cut himself. Everything was good, so we jagged in a couple of days, and the race, I talked to the owner. He said, willing right back, and, you know, he looked like he liked the sloppy track, so he's got a chance to, I don't know if it's sloppy or muddy or heavy track, I don't know, but it's wet for sure.
It is still wet out there. The sun doesn't want to stay out for us. But also, he's owned by his previous trainer, Peter Miller.
I talked to Peter before and said the horse come back good, and he said just willing right back, and thank God he just come back good, and we just trying to see if we can win the race.
And Rudy, for your other horse, Horoscope, there's a lot of things going against him. There's other speed. He doesn't necessarily like a wet track, but Rudy, he looks fantastic.
He's looked very, very good. If he looked the way if he run the way he looks, he should be very, very competitive. Though he's trying very good in the morning. We just, I don't know. You know, he run a big race in Ecuador. Hopefully, we can get him back in the winter back.
Well, what about being on the front end? He does have the inside post. Are you aggressive with him as he turns back to the 6 furlongs, though?
You know, I tell Dave, you know, the track is playing speed. Use your own judgment and take it from there. You know, I don't know. You know, when you're on top of the horses there and they break from the gate, it's up to the jockeys to decide what they want to do.
It's always.
Sometimes you're trying to put too much to the head, and at the end of the day, you just got to wait and see if they break. So
sometimes no instructions are the best instructions.
Yeah, better off.
Well, Rudy, thanks for your time and best of luck with your 2 runners.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Rudy Rodriguez, always a popular guy. His phone's always going off when I try to interview him, Greg.
Now, he wins a lot of races as well. He had a great late go at Saratoga, started to put some wins together in bunches, and this too has looked tremendous. Horoscope, and I think, Sword Fighter we saw warming up by his lonesome. He's going to try and go, it seems like.
When you look at Horoscope's running lines, I think just if you're just looking as a handicapper, as PPs, this is the 2 Horoscope, you have to say to yourself, well, what the heck happened to him last time? He must have had trouble at the start because the horse was always on or near the lead, and for some reason found himself last during the running of that race, and it was a slow pace. Nothing happened to him whatsoever. If you watch the head-on and you watch the race, nothing happened to him to start. He broke perfectly cleanly. Nobody was close to him. And for some odd reason, Irad Ortiz decided to rate the lone speed in a slow-paced race. It's amazing he actually ran as well as he did, finishing 5th, beaten just 3 lengths. Now, he's not going to likely be able to get the lead from Stoney Bennett and Desert in this race. He has run a good second one start back to True Timber about a year and a half ago, rating behind horses. He's never won rating, but he's also 8-1 right now. So if you like him, you're getting paid, and he just got a foolish ride last time. Now, maybe Rudy didn't want to go to the lead either. Irad may have been following instructions, but whatever the instructions were, it was a bad experiment, and I doubt they'll use it again today.
He's better at 6 furlongs. I just think that 6 furlongs he'll be able to pass horses, and he's not going to be able to get to the front end, so he can sit 3rd or 4th in here, and I think he's going to get a great trip sitting behind the speed, and he's going to have to improve a little bit, but you know what, he's cutting back in distance, which would help, and the 5 Desert is not getting played at the window because he's going to have to deal with a lot of horses early.
Quickly, Horoscope runs back to 3 of his races. He doesn't need to improve. He'll beat this field.
Yeah, sure.
Now, he may not do that. He's had some excuses lately. I just think Desert's running against better horses than he was running against when he was successful. The horse who finished 3rd behind him last time, Lazarus Project, would be 30 or 40-1 in this field. In fact, he was just a long price here the other day against a weaker field.
The horse who beat him was pretty nice, though.
He's okay, Cinderella El Chrome. He won here and paid $80 once last year, but he also beat him like a drum, right?
And 1st or 2nd in 13 of his 30 career starts. I mean, he's just a trier.
He is, but if you look at his figures, that number came back on the high side. Listen, I'm not saying he can't win. It's Jorge Navarro, but, man, he's got to deal with Stormy Bennett. Maybe he'll outrun him early. Who knows? You never know around here.
He's 4-1 right now. I just want to see who's the quicker of these two, and if the one's going to be in the mix with him early.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the 1. Ownership on the 1 is still Peter Miller.
Yeah.
This horse was in the Peter Miller barn. He had shipped this horse up to Oaklawn and then brought him up to New York to run for Rudy. 2 turf starts, and last time over a yielding turf start, you know, Junior Alvarado fell off this horse, and this was the race where the dirt clod hit Junior in the face.
I have a question. Why were they so adamant about running Sword Fighter on the turf? They ran him in April there, and they came back in September. Now, maybe the answer is coming off a 5-month layoff, Rudy wanted to give him a prep. Now, obviously, it was an incident in the race. The horse is clearly fine. It was the jockey that, fortunately, he's named on horses coming next week, so it'll be good to see Junior back. But this horse has been better in the dirt, particularly on wet sealed tracks at Oaklawn Park. So he's a horse that's easily a dark horse in this race.
He beat a horse on and off track named Westfest, who'd go on to win 2 in a row, and then they were so impressive they sent that horse to the Iowa Sprint.
Yes.
Not that he ran all that well in that race.
The infamous Iowa Sprint. The winner of that race is still running in the Vanderbilt. But no, but no. I'm teasing. Your point is well taken.
6-1 right now on Sword Fighter. He's the shorter price of the 2 Rudy Rodriguez horses, as good as Horoscope looks. I mean, he's looked tremendous.
Yes.
Track here warming up. But it is finally Stoney Bennett, the speedster for Linda Rice. We talked about at the open of the show, trying to win 3 in a row. But we'll have company on the front end here. Can Stoney Bennett, the 3, make it 3 straight? Let's send it upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call.
They're all in line. They're off. Stoney Bennett, like a shot out of the gate, opens up to lead by 2 lengths in an instant. Desert is sent along to try to run with him early, but Stoney Bennett was so fast out of the gate. Horoscope came out running in 3rd, and then it's What a Catch, followed by Heavy Metal, Benevolence, and on their inside, Sword Fighter. Far behind is Fleet Irish at the back of the pack. Stoney Bennett reels off an opening quarter mile in 22.05 seconds, leads Desert by a length on the far turn. It's 4.5 lengths back to Horoscope, running in 3rd by another 2.5. Then Benevolence, followed by Heavy Metal on the outside, followed by Sword Fighter along the rail as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. It is still Stoney Bennett and Desert trying to run with him. They went a half in 45.35. They're into the stretch. Stoney Bennett opening up by 2 once again on Desert. Benevolence is trying to close in 3rd. On the far outside, it's Heavy Metal in 4th. They're coming down to the final 16th. It's Stoney Bennett, but here comes Benevolence. And Benevolence is 31-1 and runs them down. Opening up late under the wire to beat Stoney Bennett, Horoscope, and Heavy Metal.
Did that just happen?
Michael
Stoney
Tenuzo.
Bennett like a rocket ship out of the gate. Now, there was no speed duel at all here. Desert not even close early with Stoney Bennett, at least out of the gate. And in the end, Benevolence at 31-1. Rolls right on by.
You got me.
Wow.
Go back to the beginning here. We talked about how Stoney Bennett, the 3 might have company. With the 5, I would say no.
He broke like a rocket. The 5 was able to put enough pressure on, but Benevolence and Eric Cancel is just going to sit back, and no one makes up any ground besides the 6 in here. Everybody else is just flailing along, and the 6 love to slop today, and the son of Here Comes Ben is going to blow up everything. This horse is basically 99-1 in this 8-horse
0
field.
for 6 on an off track prior.
Yes. 0 for 11 last year. Found his form this year, but wow. And won easily. I can't believe this horse went by everybody. Interesting.
This, wow. Scratcher. And you would have thought, I mean, Stoney Bennett absolutely gets things the way he wants them. You think this horse with that kind of setup, no way he loses this race.
No way. How? 40s, 57, alone on the front end. Now you know why the horse was in for 40 or was in for a claiming tag last time. Because not supposed to get run down by Benevolence here.
31-1. Michael Tenuzzo, Eric Cancel, Flying P stable.
Good guy, Michael
Monster
Tenuzzo.
Number here.
Good guy, Michael Tenuzzo, you know, and a guy that doesn't have a lot of horses. He claimed this horse from Brad Cox. That's a bold claim. Hard to move horses up. Give him a little bit of credit, and hopefully he had some dollar bills on Benevolence.
6-3-2-9. Benevolence had never won an off track at 6 tries coming into today. Not anymore. We'll be back with the prices next.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb was the leading freshman sales sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including stakes winners Autumn Warrior and Orvolution, stakes performer Scrapper, and TDN Rising Star Explorer. In the sales ring, his progeny continue to sell well beyond his stud fee, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga, classic winner, classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Benevolence at 31-1. I want to remind everybody real quick, today's the last Friday where if you hit any pick 4 Golden Gate, you get a 20% winner's bonus from NYRA It's any winning pick 4 Golden Gate to score that bonus. Go to nyrabets.com for details on this and all daily promotions. Benevolence, $65 winner. That is not a mistake. Here in race number 8, Eric Cancel, Michael Tenuzzo, Flying P stable. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And so please be joined here by winning trainer Mike Tenuzzo. And Mike, first horse you claimed back since you decided to go back into training. We were just reminiscing. Senior's Pride. I remember a horse when I first started working here. He was so cool.
Yeah, he was real good to me. I bought him at a cheap price, and I won a stake with him, and he was cool. He was a cool horse. And then I claimed this horse, and my first horse back, and I run him in a tough 2 other than last time here. I says, I'll run him in Saratoga where he belongs. And he fell apart on me in Saratoga. So it's been a long road. He deserves it because he worked hard getting him back here, you know.
And a horse that gave you some trouble training as well, and it looked as though it all paid off, all your hard work.
Oh, absolutely. It makes me so happy. I'm so proud of him. You know, his last 2 works at Aqueduct. I'm back home at Aqueduct where I love.
Yeah.
You know, the track is fantastic there. I get to run him. He trained great there. So, you know, Saratoga had problems training him. And when I got back home, he just started training focused. So it was big. I worked him from the gate and he got the light turned back on him.
Good. And you also claimed a pretty high-priced runner up at Saratoga, too, by the name of Rocket Heat. Came back in a stake, missed the break last time, but you're having ambitious plans for him as well.
Well, he's training great. I'm going to take him to Keelan and try to shake a town with him, 5.5. You know, he needs to be on the lead. We missed a break in Saratoga. We were 2-1. You know, it was exciting but disappointing. But as long as he came back good, I'm happy. And, you know, my owner, Jason's been believing in me, give me a lot of, you know, he's the only guy to get me started, give me a couple of horses. So I got to thank Flying P Stable.
And for the one time here at Belmont, Jason's not here. Where is he?
He's got flowers for Lisa Ring tomorrow against Manya Biscuits at Churchill.
Ah, that explains a lot. Well, Jason, we miss you. Congratulations to you, Mike, on your first win back as a trainer.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys, very nice to catch up with Mike here in the winner's circle.
That's great to see. Queens native, spent a long time as Bruce Levine's assistant, comes to the barn every morning at 4:30 a.m.
Mike's a friend of mine. He's a terrific guy, and if somebody had to beat me out of a score in the Pick 4, I'm happy it was my friend Mike Tedesco.
Benevolence, wow, has thrown a wrench into a lot of people's plans here if they thought they were going to be alive going into the last race. $65 as we take a look at this NYRA Bets late pick 5 follow along. Pretty incredible. And got one more on the card to come.
We do. It's interesting off the turf race, actually. This one's got, I think that there's 8 horses. I think 4 horses have a strong chance in this race.
So 1 mile off the turf, couple of main track onlys, Long Gray Line, the 15, Horde, the 16. Manny Franco will be aboard there as he inches closer to that big number 1,000 in his young career. And it's Long Gray Line, though, one of the main track onlys who's the 8-5 current favorite. Our show brought to you each and every day in part by the tremendous former champion sprinter. Run happy, never lost during his entire career while sprinting a perfect 7 for 7, doing it all while running without the addition of Lasix medication. There he is on the farm at Claiborne. And we're going to see his offspring in the very near future. They are in high demand as well. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Jockey Club Gold Cup. Diversify going to line up against this runner, the Dubai World Cup track record setter over in Dubai. Thunder Snow back in form and back in the U.S.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, coming up this weekend, Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, his last trip to the States. We all remember that for Thunder Snow. It did not go as planned in the Kentucky Derby, but he has become a different horse since that time. Set a new track record in Dubai during his World Cup victory. And now, Jockey Club Gold Cup, Breeders' Cup Classic, the plan for Godolphin, Saeed Bin Suroor, and Thunder Snow.
Yeah, and I think he's a player in here, and just because of the rest of the field, you just don't really what you're going to get from Mendelssohn or Gronkowski and some of the other horses, and maybe you don't know really you're going to get from Thunder Snow. You know you're going to get from Diversify.
Yeah, I don't like this horse. He's got one good race. That was in their backyard in the Dubai World Cup. I don't trust those results.
Well, it was a huge performance, and after that win, trainer Saeed Bin Suroor said all eyes were focused on New York.
This is the plan after when he ran in Dubai and he won Dubai World Cup. Sheikh Mohammed, we decided to run him here in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And we give him a break really for 5 months. I know that's a long time, but that's the horse. He had races in Dubai, 4 runs in like almost 3 months. But he won it well, Dubai World Cup. Then we ran him 1 race in England. He lost 2 shoes in the race, and it was unlucky there. But he came back good. He worked well last piece of work in England. Now he's just like, he's ready to go. We see how he goes Saturday.
Well, look, he set a track record in that race. Before that, though, in the prep race for that, North America, the Speedster, beat him at 1.25 miles. North America didn't get out of the gate in the Dubai World Cup, and that allowed him to be on the front end, setting very, very slow fractions. But you can't take away what he did.
Well, it was a track that we saw with Mendelssohn and others was very heavily favoring inside runners with speed. Yeah, he won the Dubai World Cup, and that's a great achievement. But that race is not one that I would bet him in this race, the Jockey Club Gold Cup off of.
Tough read, because Saeed Bin Suroor had some success here in New York with a lot of his runners, and to point that they have been pointing this horse for this race and the Breeders' Cup Classic, he might not have the tank fully full, but he gets the load last, and I don't think he's going to be bucking out of the gate. He does have quality.
It's going to be fun to see what happens going up against a rocket ship in Diversify in that race on Saturday. Our nightcap coming up off the turf. Remains at 1 mile here. Non-winners of 2 lifetime, and these are who remain in the race, including a couple of main track-only entrants to the outside in Long Gray Line and Horde.
Yeah, Long Gray Line is a claim last time from the Al Starl barn into the Linda Rice barn. Main track only, owned by Linda. Gray on a rainy day,
well,
9 to 5.
This horse was compromised in his last start when the speeds ran 1-2 around the racetrack. You can say 1-2-3 around the track because he was sitting 3rd, but he's more of a closer, and the race just didn't set up well for him. He's a very logical player in this race.
9 to 5 on Long Gray Line. He faced Uno Mas Modelo, who's going to line up against those monsters we talked about in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Luch knows no challenge he's not ready for.
He had way too many Uno das Mas Modelos when he entered that horse.
Horses won 3 in a row.
Just ran great in Saratoga.
Impressively.
Good luck.
Here's Horde, the other main track only
Thunder
intermediate.
Snow.
Good luck.
That's my prediction. Uno Mas Modelo
No
over Thunder
shot.
Snow.
I'll take all that action. No shot.
Here a throwdown coming on right here between these two.
A horse that closes at 6.5 furlong against a classic winner.
I'm betting over taking a horse that's 5 times the price.
That's true.
And I'm standing by it. My man
it.
Luch.
I like it.
5 to 1 on Horde right here.
Well, Horde handled a track pretty similar to this one. You look at this track and you look at today's track, they're not dissimilar. Now, it wasn't a particularly fast race. He did meet Spring on Curlin, who I actually kind of like a little bit in this race, but he handled the track, and he's got the same kind of outside post. He's not impossible.
No, he isn't, and he looks like a horse that can pick up pieces. He looks like the perfect horse you want to throw underneath in this race, right? You don't know if he really can win this race. He can, I guess. But he looks like a horse that can just stick around 3rd or 4th. You know what I mean? 2nd, 3rd, or 4th in this race. And
at the main track onlys, I just think Long Gray Line is much better.
Much shorter price. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and
the board reflects that.
He's a little bit faster. I mean, how much faster is Long Gray Line?
Not
really?
great, yeah.
I mean, it's not like lays over the field.
Here's Spring on Curlin. Dylan Davis will ride for Charlie Baker, 7 to 2.
I'm kind of hoping he's coming into his own a little bit. I thought he ran very well last time to make a big run from well back and win at Saratoga. I thought A's Initiative, the horse was second, actually came back and ran fairly well here. And I know this is dirt, but he's shown that he can run as well on the turf or dirt or close to as well as he can on the turf in the past. And he's got dirt race, give him a chance, and he's going to go up from his 4-1. I picked him on top because I thought the 4, 10, 15, 16 are the players, and I thought he'd be the biggest price of the 4. While acknowledging that the number 15 in this race, Long Gray Line's the one to beat, but I didn't think the margin was that strong.
Time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Byron for $15,000.
Bobby G comes in here off the layoff, first time for a tag, and getting back to the main track, in which at least there were fast surfaces out in California. As Paul was mentioning earlier, he's run okay, and he looks like a horse that should be able to handle the going here, and comes back looking extremely fit. He actually looks better than what I had seen from him going back to the November 24th race, and I don't see why this horse can't be competitive given the circumstances. The only kind of criticism I have of him is that usually horses coming back off layoffs, they kind of behave in a fresh way, and he's really quiet, very, very docile here in the paddock. Moving on to number 16, Horde. Well, if you want a horse that appreciates moisture in the track, it's definitely Horde. He is one that, going back to his last win, which is his maiden-breaking win, he just really floated over the sloppy sealed track here at Belmont. He's getting the same exact conditions once again, and he's a very, very viable alternative to your current 2-1 other MTO in Long Gray Line. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. 13 minutes away from our finale coming up on this Friday afternoon. Our post-parade is next. We'll be back with more right after this on Belmont Park Live. Stick around.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Eric Consell, rest of the jockey colony. Photo shoot time, getting some good headshots done earlier this afternoon. Having some fun with it. Dylan Davis.
Those are always fun days.
Poses.
You know, they designate when you play baseball or football or any professional sport like these guys, they designate a day where they try to get photo days. Like sometimes you'll see their photos on our shows or on other shows, and there's Manny Franco talking to some connections. Those photo days can get caught on you. I remember I had a mustache, right? And I had shaved my mustache, and then I took a picture, and I was just messing around. Then I went back in and shaved it away. They used the mustache picture. It was on the scoreboard for a good 6 months, and I made him take it down. So you got to be careful who the photographer is as you see the jockey standing.
Yeah, you saw Manny Franco there talking to Bobby Robato, who's going to team up with here in this race, and he is 1 away from tying up Javier Castellano, and he's closing in again on 1,000 for his career, 6 away.
Great milestone. It really is. And how about 6,000? I don't care where, when, how. 5,000, 6,000, Andy. That is a lot of W's.
Yes, it is. Javier Castellano almost 5,000 as well, Johnny, at 6.
Look at Johnny V, looking out into the future.
So there's Manny.
Thought that was like a wax museum.
It did look like it, didn't it? A little bit. 9-2 on Horde here. See if Manny can inch a little bit closer for Bobby Robato. And the source, his only win came on a sloppy racetrack, and it came here at Belmont for 75,000 maiden claiming.
Not impossible. I mean, he's close enough. You know, like I said, I think the 8, 10, 15, 16, all 4 of them are players in this race. I don't think there's a big discrepancy between any of them. And, you know, you're sort of hoping that the 15 maybe moves up with the claim for Linda Rice. Well, I'll say 2 things. Al Stahl had this horse. And Al Stahl is good. So, and Linda does not have great numbers off the claim. So if you're expecting this horse to improve the claim for Linda, I think you might be in trouble. Now, I'm not saying the horse can't win on the form that Al had, but also the best form is out of town. See if this horse can reproduce it in New York.
Here comes our post parade, and we will kick things off with Stormy Justin, the 3. He's 14-1 on the board, and it'll be the first time on dirt for the son of Get Stormy.
Yeah, he'll make Benevolence look like a logical winner if he gets it done here.
Spectacular Plum, the 6. John Velasquez chasing 6,000.
Yeah, horse that's been running a little bit better, and I won't even ask Andy because I know he's a Plum guy.
I am.
Spring on Curlin for Charlie Baker, Dylan Davis.
Yes, Spring on Curlin. You know, got the W last time at the break. His maiden 17 try was the charm. Maybe the light bulb goes on.
The one that Paulie liked here, Bobby G, whose first 3 starts of his career came on the main track.
Listen, he faced Gormley in his first start and Show Me the Loot. Those 2 horses would be big-time favorites in here. I just hoping that he can get back and reach back to some form on the drop here.
4 nights had a race that was taken off the turf at Churchill for Joe Sharp. Luis Saez.
You know, he had a sloppy seal track off the turf race where he's even money 3 back, and he was brutal in that race. So unless you think he's going to somehow like the surface for Joe Sharp, good luck.
Yegos Fire. It's been 14 starts since he's been on dirt.
Yeah, he feels like another horse who would make Benevolence look odds on.
27-1 the dirt form. Actually used to have some speed sprinting on dirt way back when. Here's the main track onlys. Long Gray Line. Linda Rice off the claim. Irad Ortiz Jr.
He's the favorite. It's probably the worst to beat, but I don't think the margin error is there. We'll see if he can improve or run to his best races off the claim for Linda.
And Horde on the outside. Manny Franco for Bobby Robato.
Yeah, and he comes out with front wraps, but I would not worry about that. You look at his 2 muddy races that he's had. He wore front wraps in both of those, and he's getting away from the pony with the nice little warm-up here.
At 5-1 right now. So this race coming up in just a few minutes. Hey, everybody. I miss you guys already. I'm going to duck out early because I need to go to the airport, catch a flight back to LA, but I am back for Arc de Triomphe coverage a week from Sunday. Going to be on at 9:30 in the morning, and we have a transatlantic pick 4 that includes a couple of races from Longchamp, a couple of races here from Belmont.
Well, I'm excited. I'm not going to be. I'm excited to watch you guys do it. Christophe Clement's going to join you guys, too.
I'll be in bed.
Oh,
Well, are you guys going to be okay? You going to miss me?
I'm going to burst in tears. Are you leaving right now?
I'm leaving right now.
You know, to be honest with you,
can we throw it a break?
Bye.
Can we throw it a break? Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go tell a long story.
No, I'm going to show real quick.
No, don't. Take your time.
Greg makes Andy and I look so good in the preparation that he puts in is 5 times the preparation that Andy and I put in, and I know the preparation that Andy puts in. He puts in more than me, and I put in a lot. So, Greg, thank you very much for all you do, and I know you work diligent with the guys in the truck.
Thank you, buddy.
You make
I
us look
appreciate
good.
that.
We
All
look good.
Everybody,
Less
had a great
bad.
time. I'll see you all week from Sunday and close this show out strong.
Turning for home in front. Host of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, host of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, host of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires. 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, brought to you by Claiborne Farm and Horses. Circling behind the gate for the nightcap run. The main track going a mile here, and want to talk about a horse who, well, the jury's still out on his abilities as far as the main track is concerned. But Joe Sharp does have a win already on this Friday card. And 4 nights, at least I can kind of make an excuse for his last start up at Saratoga, which was on his preferred surface in the turf. And he acted up very badly throughout the paddock, throughout the time on the racetrack. And you see the comment line saying tired? Well, yeah, because he expended a lot of energy before he ever went in the gate. Today, while he is still sharp and keen, just so much more contained, so much more focused. And I think at least that puts a little bit of encouragement, at least in my book, for him and his chances here today. But guys, as I throw it back to you, I don't know if he'll handle this surface, but I don't even know who I'm throwing it back to. Who is taking over host position here on the show?
Steve and Jose, actually. Steve moved out from behind the camera, and Jose Ramos came up from the truck. Jose, how are you?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good.
We're
Doing
trying
well.
to get David Wright on the set, but he's taking BP right now. He's getting ready for tomorrow.
That's right. You heading out last weekend.
No, here's the crazy problem. You and I both have things we need to do tomorrow night that we have obligations and we can't go.
We'll be here.
We'll be here.
We'll be here for the fans.
Exactly. We're
and the
here.
great racing. And it's going to be great weather.
We don't need Greg Wolf.
People should come out to Belmont. By all kidding aside,
No, that is
it's going to
true.
be great weather this weekend. There's 22 days left in Belmont. The weather's supposed to clear. It's supposed to be in the 70s and beautiful, tremendous racing. I really do hope that people, we obviously appreciate when people watch us in the show, but if you're in the area and you can come out, this is the time to come out. Belmont in the fall, no better place to be. Come out and enjoy the races.
Yeah, I'm with you there because tomorrow, the next day, the forecast is now done. We're done with all this rain and this nonsense, and tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day. Come out to the yard, bring your coolers out here, bring your lunches, do what you need to do, and hopefully we can give you some winners. And you know, the 15's the favorite here, Andy, and I guess you're right. Listen, you were right for me saying the 8, 10, 15, 16, one of those 4 horses wins this race.
On paper, they're supposed to win. You never know. I mean, we've seen some goofy results here, but they certainly seem like the right horses. We head upstairs for Larry Colmus, the call, the 9th and final here at Belmont.
And here comes Horde up to the outside stall to complete the line. steps forward and goes in. They're all in line. A couple of them acting up a bit in the gate there. Settles down. They're off. A fast start by Stormy Justin from the inside. Goes out to the front with Spectacular Plum. Horde on the far outside. Then it's 4 Knights in Long Gray Line. A length and a half back to Bobby G. Jago's Fire is next. And Spring on Curlin is last early as they head up the back stretch. And it's Spectacular Plum on the outside of Stormy Justin with Horde outside of them. They go by the first quarter mile in 23.68 seconds. 4 Knights is fourth and racing on the rail, a length and a half off the lead. Long Gray Line is next by 2, then Jago's Fire, followed by Bobby G on the inside, and Spring on Curlin last in a tight pack, racing just 5 lengths from the front. It is Stormy Justin, and right alongside Spectacular Plum, Horde outside of them. The half mile is in 47.27 seconds. And now Stormy Justin has given way, and it is Horde and Spectacular Plum with Long Gray Line coming up to them on the outside. Behind the leaders is 4 Knights running in fourth by 2. Then comes Bobby G, who's up in fifth. Stormy Justin drops back on the inside of Spring on Curlin, then Jago's Fire. Coming to the top of the stretch, Spectacular Plum. On the rail, Horde between, Long Gray Line on the outside, 3/4, 112.28. They're into the stretch. And it is Spectacular Plum on the inside in front. Long Gray Line up into second. Horde is third. Then Bobby G, who's taken fourth on the inside. Spectacular Plum trying to hold off Long Gray Line and Horde between. Spectacular Plum still there. Long Gray Line, Horde between. Spectacular Plum will do it. Horde will be second, Long Gray Line was third, and Bobby G was fourth.
That's why they run the races. Spectacular Plum, who's done very little running in his 3 dirt races, or I should say 4 dirt races. Today, very game, getting the win. John Velasquez, I believe, had the mount for Louis Carvajal.
Yeah, and this is going to result in a huge payoff here in the pick 5, and it looks like this is 6-16, 10-1 over 5-1 in 15. The Long Gray Line looked like at dead aim and just could not go by. The 10 was rolling up the rail. The 8 didn't show up. It was just a no passing zone here.
Equine chandeliers hanging down the stretch.
Yeah, you're right. The 10 was the only one to make up any ground at all, Andy, and he was not really, you know?
Yeah, sort of a minor run towards the end. Spring on Curlin. My pick had absolutely no run, but a couple of long shots to close things out. I'll tell you what's a little amazing. Somebody hit this pick 6.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And by the way,
now, it did start with a 2 to 5 shot, to be fair.
It did, so, but
a tough sequence.
6s had to be your...
I'm surprised this horse was covered in the pick 6, but John Velasquez got the job done.
I'm trying to get the pick 5 payout for you. The pick 4, you're right. The pick 6 does get paid. Hold on real quick. We got 20 to break. As there's people out there.
Time,
I am going to take my time. It's $37,000. 50-cent pick 5, Andy.
Well, sounds like we may have had one winner. Congratulations to whoever that winner was. But Spectacular Plum gets it done. John Velasquez, 6, 16, 15, 10. Belmont Park Live will continue after a quick break.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park live and Spectacular Plum. Well, she finds her way to the winner's circle, or he does, excuse me, and kicking off a pretty good start to the weekend for this guy right here in Louis Carvajal. And Louis, Spectacular Plum decided to leave him in. His races on the main track maybe weren't as good as his turf races, but it paid off today.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing I told Johnny that I don't want him to get dirty, so I told him just make sure you come clean. I'm just very happy that I got to win a race with Johnny, and the horse runs super. I'm happy for my client, too, that he's happy to win a race here. And like you say, it's a good way to start this weekend.
Because you're 1-5 in the Fosberg with Imperial Hint. He is the little horse with a big heart and a big motor, too.
Yeah, definitely. It's my little machine, I call him. But yeah, 1-5, it's a lot of pressure too, because you want him to win like a 1-5. So hopefully everything works good tomorrow for us, and Javier, he does a good job, and hopefully he'll guide him to the wire first.
I was giving you a little bit of a hard time before we came on air. He wouldn't let me interview him. The only horse in Saratoga that would not let me get in a jock's interview. I actually opted to not ride the pony for the Fosberg tomorrow for that reason.
Well, I think maybe because he got intimidated because the pony probably bigger than him.
My big boy Jaeger. But Louis, congratulations here. Hoping it continues on to tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, all eyes will be on Imperial Hint, right, Andy?
It's nice to see Louis Carvajal get a nice win here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to win these races as well, and obviously has that heavy favor. They said with Imperial Hint, 2280. I stand corrected, by the way. This horse was not covered in the pick six. We'll get to that. 2280 gets the job done. I got to tell you, this horse paid $22. Benevolence paid $65. I'd have bet Benevolence before I bet this horse.
You're right, and here's the thing. You mentioned it earlier in the
141.
Yeah, 141 is the carryover. You mentioned it earlier in the card. Small fields, but you cannot be discouraged by the small fields. Look at the payoffs: $4,000 pick 4, $37,000 pick 5. You got to just be able to find the winners.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't hit this. I couldn't use this horse under any circumstances. $37,000 the payout in that. Yeah, the two bombs, obviously. Logical horses to begin the sequence, to carry over the pick 6 of $141,000. Listen, I couldn't have got the last two on there. I couldn't have got the first one at $8, but I did like the second and third. I couldn't use
But here's my thing is you get a Chad Brown entry at even money, less than that, to a 4-horse field, and the pick 4 paid $4,000. That's pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was hard to get to the last two races.
Of course,
but listen,
yeah.
I mean, people assume these off the turf races don't offer any opportunities, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
The truth is that Maddie's Magnum at 870 was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that
that's
horse
what made
should
the
have probably
pick four,
paid about $5 in that race.
Yeah, sure.
And even just betting that race by itself, or a double, as you said, paid $27 for $2. So those two horses, great opportunities and great racing left. Last 2 days of the run on this show, consecutive run on Belmont Park and Saratoga Live, but we're going out with a bang. Unbelievable show tomorrow. You and Maggie and I will be on the show tomorrow. Of course, Frank Miramati will join us on Sunday, but tons of stakes action, and can't wait for the big ones tomorrow. 3 grade ones, all grade stakes in the show.
Yeah, and then just the pick 6 carryover just to basically spice it up, and I would think Diversify is going to be singled on a ton of tickets tomorrow.
Well, he'll be a single, but not as big, of course, as Imperial Hint, who kicks off the Naira Bets late pick 5. Great action. Join us tomorrow for Greg Wolf, Paula Duca, Maggie Wolfendale, and myself, and Larry Colmus as well. Thanks for joining us in Belmont Park Live, and we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow at 4.